There we
What's
go.
up?
Hey,
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, man. Just loving playing guitar.
I know, me too.
Yeah, I
I'm
saw that
messing with a
video,
different
man.
sound today, and it sounds a little crazy, but
That's all
I'm
right.
just, I built a little patch on this thing. It's kind of cool sounding.
Ooh, that's cool.
So, yeah,
It's got a little bit of delay in it. That's sweet.
yeah.
I really like that video you sent me, by the way. That was cool. Like
Oh
you were
yeah,
like,
man. I was just messing around, and I was like recording myself so I could watch myself,
yep.
like fingers and everything, just watching slides and stuff, and I was like, let me send this to him. That
Yeah.
was a pretty proud moment, like
Good. So let's just take a look at like how those patterns are sitting and how you're feeling about them, and then we can start like constructing some more lines and switch keys and stuff.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mainly, like, so I've been. Let me see if I can turn this sideways. Maybe.
Totally. Because you're coming in from your phone, right?
Yeah. All right. Let's see if I turn it sideways.
Ah, there we
It'll
go.
be better. Sorry.
No, you're
Uh-oh.
good.
Look, I'm taking screenshots and all kind of stuff.
Oh no.
There. No, you can't. Well, I'll slide back.
That's
There
good.
we go. So. And then I usually
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
back and forth, And then another one I've been doing is just like the two strings. So I'll go. And then,
Yeah.
and then so I'll do
Yeah,
that
man.
there. And then I'll do like.
Sick.
So that's pretty much what I've been practicing. I haven't done it on any other strings. I usually do it on like, like the E and A string.
Yeah.
Or I'll use like D, G. But I haven't done it like down here, and I probably need to.
It's worth the practice, yeah. But I mean, already I'm really impressed, right? I see that you're like, oh yeah, you're like really piecing that together.
Yeah.
You know, so awesome. Let's do a little bit of this today because I noticed like most of the picking. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like most of your picking is down picking at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of it. Yeah.
We're going to clean that up a little bit because some of the patterns that I really like to use that create these like descending lines, they're really require that like alternate picking, and then also like that, or like where I do a little bit of like there's a little sweep in there, like there's a 5-note pattern that I really like.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I think the easiest way actually to practice alternate picking is to do exactly what you were doing before. This exercise right here.
Yeah. And just see?
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's, for right now, for simplicity's sake, right? Like more than anything, we'll do it descending. So I'll do 7, 5, 7, 5. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll just repeat it. And what we want to do right now is we want to keep the left hand work really easy.
Right.
And we want to focus in on what's happening in the right hand that's making this hard, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just so weird. I think I told you last week. Like, I've never really like.
Yeah. And you know what's funny, man, is like I had a real big I'm left-handed, but I play right-handed. And you know, so for me it was all about
Yeah.
the stuff and like the chord shapes and the this stuff. And I totally neglected like the right hand and the picking, and I just thought that like the reason why I was slow is because of this, and didn't really start to
Right.
put the pieces together and be like, wait a minute, it's probably my
That's.
yeah.
I know exactly what you mean, and that's
Yeah.
me. Like, I've always been like, well, I'm not very fast, and I always thought it was my left hand. But yeah.
Yep. And really when you think about it, right? Like, yeah, hammer-ons and pull-offs are real, right? Like you can do
Yeah.
like this is all down picking and I can play fast that way.
Mhm.
But if you want to think about picking like, you know, playing scales and whatnot, like your fastest tempo is however fast you can do this
Up and down. Yeah.
alternate pick, right? And a lot of the time we forget that that's where it's at. So I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit. I'm going to show you how I get that sort of speed. And really like what we can do to just start off is literally just take the third string. And what I'm doing is yeah, exactly. I hold the pick a little bit like this, like in a fist. It's a very like loose fist right there.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not like a 3-finger grip. It's nothing like that. And it's the tip of the pick.
Yeah.
And then the other yep, perfect. The other thing that I like to do is I create, instead of having the pick, the edge of the pick be parallel to the string, right? That's the point of most resistance. What I try to do is just give it a little bit of an angle. So I'm almost like making a ramp for the pick.
Yep. Yep.
Can you feel that?
Yep. I know.
And then I just shake my wrist. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Ah, see? And then what I'm trying to do on my way back up is in my brain place, right? I'm imagining that the pick never stops touching the string.
Yeah.
And you can feel it like just gliding in between.
Yep.
Right? And it's totally fine to like, it's
yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
I feel it though, kind of like it just like slides on the edge a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And you can just feel it moving, and it's totally fine to like. Oops.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, dude.
I'm getting like notifications on my phone, and it's like vibrating.
It's funny, dude. In this job, I've literally like seen everything, so I have no like.
Yeah.
No judgment whatsoever. So the other thing that's totally okay is that like I'm not planting with my ring finger, right? But I can definitely feel that I like to touch with like the tip of the nail and just like let it glide. It just gives me a little bit of support.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's not necessary.
I'm almost like that, especially like if I palm mute or whatever. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to do this on my computer. Yeah. It's crazy. Today's like, and I'm in a different setup today. I'm usually like across the room. So
yeah, that's totally cool, dude.
Now my phone doesn't want to stand up. Stay there. Right there. There we go. Okay.
There you go. So so like what I'm doing is, yeah, you can touch a little bit, but I'm not planting. That's a different like distinction. And a lot of the time too, I find that the top, like almost like if you are palm muting, this top part touches the strings below. Yeah. It just allows me to do this. And you should just feel it like, it should feel like it's just gliding through, right? Like you're just like.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the, you know, the economics of movement here. So when you're holding the pick like this and you're doing this sort of thing, right?
Right.
The hardest part now is changing string.
Yeah.
Right? That always becomes the next thing. You're just like, okay, well, cool. I solved the problem of playing fast. Like, this is the tempo that you can play now.
Right. Yeah.
Believe it or
yeah.
not, right? We've solved that issue, but now we have to figure out, like, how do I do that going from string to string? Of course, we can have a lot of fun with.
Yeah.
You know, all I have to do is just fret down and touch the string, and
Yeah.
I was just doing the pentatonic scale. Yep. So you can, you know.
Yeah.
If you like party tricks, this is a good one. Yeah. You know, all I'm doing is just like at a certain point. And that's how you hear those things, like, you know, early AC/DC or whatever, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, it's literally just a party trick of using like the open string, you know, and just doing downstrokes. But now we're gonna like put this into like actually playing with like switching strings. So the big thing here is changing strings is hard, but with this slight angle that we've got going for us, you are going to notice that when you do an upstroke, it's very easy to change string because your pick is free.
Right. Yeah. It just goes right up into. Yeah.
Yep. And we're gonna do an upstroke and then come down on a downstroke again, right? When we're changing string.
Okay.
So the math of this then is, you know, when do we do upstrokes? Like literally, like from a mathematical perspective, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not much. At least
50% of the time.
I mean, yeah, because you have up and down. So
yeah, if we're doing up and down. So like anytime we have an upstroke, that's the best time to change string. And that happens after an even number of notes.
Okay.
Right? Because if I'm doing
you start on a down, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to think in terms of 2s, 4s, and 6s for now, maybe 8s, right? So really what I like to do then when I practice this is, okay, cool. Like now I want to switch between strings. My left hand's not the problem at the moment. My left hand's actually pretty fast because I can already do hammer-ons and pull-offs like a champ.
Right, yeah.
So I know that it's not there the issue is. Because if I wanted to play picked, all I have to think of is hammer-on pull-offs in this hand and then pick that fast.
Yeah.
So what we start off doing is just creating these exercises where now I'm doing even numbers on open strings and then switching. So I'll start off maybe on the first string.
Okay, I got you.
And you're going to get to that low E string and be like, oh gosh, that is really uncomfortable. Because you're trying to find somewhere to support.
Oh, yeah.
But the top E string is easy because if you look at my hand, yeah, it's a good exercise. Yeah. And you have
I feel like I keep like missing it though.
Yeah, you have to hear that subdivision in your head of like you know?
I'm holding the pick like crazy now.
Yeah, and don't get tense, right? Like that's the easiest thing to do. Just be like,
right, is to be tensed up and try to, yeah. Oh my goodness. So are you like more wrist or is it like?
Oh, definitely all wrist.
Okay.
So like a little bit of arm is necessary, but if you look, it's people like talk about it as like shaking off water. I actually really like that analogy of like all I'm doing is this. You know?
Yeah.
And if you have a like close your fists and do that for a second and tell me that is difficult. But if I open it up, all of a sudden like gravity and anatomy and whatnot like takes this,
it's
like
just
movement.
more natural.
Yeah. And I mean it's so funny because on all instruments across the board, right? How are you supposed to hold drumsticks? In this right there, right? And you're not supposed to actually hold tight. You're supposed to hold with this grip and like let this. How are you supposed to like, push a key on the piano? Not like this, but like this.
Yeah.
So this is literally the most efficient movement our hand can make.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're just trying to figure that out for the instruments that we're playing. So it's like, that makes it simple. Easy is probably the wrong word, but it makes it simple. So now we're just kind of trying to be like, oh, cool. I can do this motion. And then I just have to, in my head, and it does get harder as you move up the string to the lower, like to the low sounding E string. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt it up there.
Yeah, because you lose that support of like having against.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my least favorite one to try this sort of tremolo picking on. Also, because the string is thick and wound, if you do this ramp, you're gonna get this like sounds like a didgeridoo sort of sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to be a little bit more parallel with the string there, with the pick. But then you can start angling some more.
Look at this.
Yeah. And it's mostly my wrist, very little arm and elbow. Yeah. And the reason is too. Mm-hmm.
I'm so used to playing too. Like a lot of times when I play, like everything I do is almost like palm muted, unless I'm like really like hammering down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so even like this, like
it's funny though, because watch, like when I'm playing licks or scales, I'm constantly doing this thing with my palm and muting. And part of the reason why you do want to do that, like I don't necessarily want all this to be muted like it is now. But I'm definitely constantly trying to mute the strings. But if you look at like, I feel like I can play that pretty fast. All I'm really doing is feeling that motion in my hand that we just talked about. And then of course, like I do have to skip strings. But I just think of this as one big motion. So now I'm not going, which is great. You get this like nice thick sound,
right?
But you lose out on the speed.
Yep.
And speed isn't everything. So I don't teach this to turn people into like shredders or speed demons. But I want people to have the option. And also, I really like the sound of alternate picking. Yeah,
I love that. Like that little rundown that you do.
Yeah, which is like, it's literally just the pentatonic scale, except I hit this note instead of that note at the top. And it's all alternate picking. But it sounds so smooth, and it feels like here we are, because I'm alternate picking. So it's not
right.
Yeah, and it's not exactly two different worlds. Now, do I think that sound is cool?
Right, you can get some big notes out of it, but
like I do like that muted sound, but I want the muted sound to be like on my terms, like when the music calls for it. And then I want to have this I want to be like my default sound. Yeah.
See, I still feel like I'm using more of my arm.
Yeah. A lot of people are more in this area, right? But usually
that's me, yeah.
Yeah. If you're here, I'm gonna I'll exaggerate it. But yeah, if you're like, oh, like this, that's not bad, but I can definitely feel I'm tense already.
Right, and that's how I feel. Yep.
If I just do this, shake off that water. let's keep practicing. So exactly. My first part of this practice is literally just
Yeah.
and then
Who thought that strumming or picking would be the hardest part? Like, at least to me, it is.
It is for me too. Like,
Because it's so much, like, this is so much different. This is brand new to me, like the whole. But I like it. Like, I feel what you're saying with like the ramp, like how it just slides.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a crazy thing. It's funny because I'm 28 now. I've played guitar since 10. Was like in music school, but it was all like, fingerstyle classical playing. And it wasn't
Yeah.
until I was like 23 or 24 where I sort of like discovered like, oh, my right hand for picking is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. I really am. And I can feel it. I'm really gonna have to like work with this.
Yeah, I think the first step is just doing this. And then keep in mind that the pentatonic scale is a perfect scale because it's a 2-note per string scale.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So you can now start to create patterns. Yeah. So the kind of patterns that I really like to play then are actually repeated patterns where I'm going. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Or take that pattern that you were showing me earlier.
Yeah, and just move down with it.
That's hard. That stretch right there is hard for me. So it's like now I can play this like shreddy stuff, which is just again doing the same thing fast. Yeah.
It's a matter of getting my left on board with that too.
Yeah. There you go. And what I hear in my head too, Trevor, is this like 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, but really what my brain is thinking is 1, 2, 3, 4. So in my brain it's just one thing. And you can certainly use some like sexy delay on there and just, like really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Create a wall of sound if you wanted to. Kind of fun.
So.
Yeah.
I gotta get my left hand on board with that now, like, cause my left hand isn't used to moving like that, like.
Yep. If you can do this though, like my thought process is if you can do this,
yeah,
which is the hammer-on pull-off version, you can certainly do this.
Right.
And I'm not looking for it to necessarily be that fast either, right? Like,
Right.
I just want alternate.
Oh yeah, it's gonna take me a minute to get up on the speed, but
yeah. But you'll start to feel like you're just kind of going like, so when I'm doing this, and I'm like, okay, that's just one motion. Now I just shake my hand faster.
Yeah.
This is probably about my top speed on that. But I'm just kind of like trying to stay relaxed on my way up, Yeah. Yep. It's good, man.
So. Oh my goodness.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And it's funny too because like, you know, 95% of what we play at church, at gigs, like it does not require that technical proficiency. But trust me, when you have the technical proficiency, it makes those church parts so much easier.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
plus there are some church parts that are very, you know, with lots of delay and reverb, where it's like I don't want to get into like a song and hear like one note played really fast and go, man, I really can't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. Like it's just...
Yeah. And part of being able to do those parts too is just this picking.
Right.
Relax. Shake that wrist. Feel the ramp. You know, and again, I'm just hearing 4 in my head.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
No. Sounds a lot more impressive than it is. You know, it's just
Right. Yeah.
I'm just shaking my wrist, bro.
That's it.
Yeah.
I gotta get that.
There you go. And you can open up your hand a little bit more because I feel like, or let me, I'm not, you are, it is open. Okay. It just looked like it was like very close. Yeah, that's good. And it's funny because that does.
The pick grip.
Yeah.
Once I really feel that, like I know what you mean, and I can feel like how you say it's like a ramp, and it feels like it's almost sliding.
Yeah. What side of the pick are you playing against, by the way?
So.
Try turning it
this way.
Yeah, try having the sharp tip out and then with the ramp.
Oh my gosh.
Who is this guy? I don't know you anymore. Woo!
I'm using it the wrong way. I was like this.
Hey, so I've done this too.
I still felt it a little bit, like.
Yeah, so I actually, with these types of picks, did the same thing at the beginning because I figured less surface area would make me play faster. And I did, so now I'm doing it the way that you were doing it. And I did get this going. The problem was when I'm switching between string, I didn't have enough like clearance. But if I'm doing, but that's, and I was afraid that if I turned it to this tip, which was what I used to play on until I started playing fast, that like I wouldn't have enough. But then I started discovering that I actually have more than enough clearance.
Yeah. I still got it.
Yeah.
It still sounds like hard.
Yeah. And what I would do now is like hold the pick that way, do it on one string, just open, and then switch string.
So is it like? Let me see. No, that's not.
A little bit more of a ramp. Okay. There you go. And then go to the next string.
I feel like I'm more just like sliding it across the strings.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And you don't want it to be like too slidey, right? But like just, there you go. So probably your first step now, honestly, like before you start going like, okay, I can play this now. I can switch between
now add
like I'm gonna go right into this. If I were you, I would start holding the pick that way. Try to do the pentatonic scale, all alternate picking. Yeah. And just do one shape.
Okay.
Yeah. And then do that with the metronome.
Right, for tempo, yeah.
For tempo, because it's so like when somebody tells me like randomly like, hey Jonathan, play like the craziest thing that you can play, my brain goes, oh, I have to play as fast as I can, and then I just go, oh, I gotta do that, and I mess up so badly because I'm trying to play so fast.
Yeah.
And like that's like, but if you just give me a beat and I play 16 notes over it, people go like, oh wow, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But so it's like when you're trying to do this without like a point of reference, we tend to want to go way faster than like what's necessary.
Right. I feel that. Like,
plus like when you're playing in a tune, like one of the things that I can do that really bug me when I listen back to it is I try to play really fast over the song. Like if I'll try to do a passage that's really fast, but it's not like a subdivision of the beat. So like when I listen back, I cannot tell if those are 16 notes or sextuplets. And then it just sounds like mush. But what sounds really good is if the tempo is 110 and I'm playing 16 notes and they're even, or I'm playing triplets and they are actually triplets, then like that sounds really good.
Yeah.
And I'd rather sound good than play some like really fast,
crazy
but, like, muddled stuff. Yeah.
I just gotta keep doing this.
Yeah.
This feels good right here.
And the thing with this is like, you will know that feeling.
Right. Yeah.
That's the craziest part. Like that feeling is really like recognizable.
Right.
And that's what we're going for. Yeah.
I gotta keep messing with this pick. So yeah, I was doing it like this, like
inward. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, try that way. Give it like a week. Try play like if you're like, if you're playing at church this Sunday, like try playing the whole service like that.
Okay.
It'll be like
weird, but yeah.
Yeah. It'll feel a little bit different, right? Because you're not used to it yet. But I promise you, it'll also force you to like sort of like create this ramp. Because when I'm strumming too, like if I'm like you sort of have to like learn how to like turn your pick to
create
sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's honestly a really good start too. It's just going like,
yeah.
All I'm doing here is I'm just pretending like I'm doing a hammer on pull off.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's lining up, but because like I'm, one is up and one is down, it's working out.